choose compassion.
Hello, Kaivegan! Salamat po sa pagsubaybay sa aming episode. We're going to be talking about animal laws and where to get your protein and omegas. Ang co-host ko ngayon ay si Avra. You might have missed her nung sa last episode, but she's also known as Love Wild, Live Free.
Thank you for having me.
So for our featured Kaivegan, we have Camille Labchuk. She's the animal rights lawyer. She's also an executive director for animal justice. Hello, Camille.
Hi,
How
so
are
good
you
to be
today?
here.
How long you've been vegan for, Camille?
It's my 10-year anniversary this month.
Wow.
So,
Congratulations.
thank
Wow.
you. I've been reading a fantastic book that you two should totally check out. It's called What a Fish Knows.
Yeah?
And it's a deep dive, forgive the pun, into fish psychology. So what are these creatures all about? What kind of cognitive skills do they have? What problems can they solve? What kind of friendships do they have with each other? And the more that I've been reading about them, the more I realize they're just like the cats and dogs that we know and love.
What did you think about fish before?
I feel like fish get this rep that they're like kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. They don't have feelings. They don't understand. They can't see the reflection. And obviously with the case of, you know, this video and just all the research that's been done lately, that's not what it is. That's not the truth.
What is that book called again?
It's called What a Fish Knows, and it's by Dr. Jonathan Balcombe, and he's an animal behaviorist and psychologist. So he digs into the research, he pulls up all the studies that people have done on these animals, and it's just mind-blowing.
You need to look it up.
Yeah.
We're going to be hooked.
Yes.
Pun intended. Now, I know that Animal Justice is the only animal law organization in Canada.
Yeah, that's right. We are mostly lawyers, and we use our legal skills to help animals, whether that's fighting for stronger legislation or going to court ourselves. We're trying to make a difference.
Right, and how did that start?
Well, we're coming up on our 9-year anniversary this year, and it started when a group of lawyers looked at the Canadian scene and saw that no group of lawyers was out there fighting for animals using the legal system. And when you look at the history of social movements, women's rights, rights for racialized communities, abolishing slavery, lawyers have always played a huge role in those social movements. And the fight of our generation and of our time is to help animals, to get them rights, to protect them better. And we understand and I think really value the importance of lawyers in that fight. Sometimes the laws are okay, sometimes they're not okay, and they need to be changed and they need to be improved. Sometimes they're okay, but they're never enforced properly. So, you know, if we want to know what's appropriate and how we should be treating animals, the first thing that we do is look to the law. And so law right now, I don't think reflects the way society sees animals. Society sees animals and you know, we're all taught to be compassionate towards animals as children. Sometimes the law doesn't hold up to those values. So we want to change it when we need to, and we want to make sure it's enforced when that's an issue. One thing that everyone can get involved in is a bill right now in the Canadian Senate that would ban keeping whales and dolphins in captivity. So the reason for this is that there's a couple of places in Canada that keep whales, so usually belugas and dolphins. There's even a killer whale at Marineland.
I thought they closed already, didn't they?
No, Marineland's still open, and they still have a killer whale named Kiska in captivity there.
Oh, no.
And these whales like swim in one aquarium in circles all day.
It's really heartbreaking to think of their lives in these tiny tanks.
Yeah, didn't you mention something about the aquarium in Vancouver? Like, you were talking to me about that.
Somebody made a film about them, exposing them for keeping these animals in captivity and the problems with that. And they're suing that filmmaker to try to shut down the film, so we're involved in that case. But another exciting thing that's happening is that there's this bill right now that we can all contact our senators and ask them to support that bill. So in Ontario, anyone who lives here, you can go on the Parliament's website, find out who all the senators are in Ontario, and send them an email.
So I know we have an attraction in Toronto, Ripley's Aquarium, and I've been there. I thought before, when I wasn't a vegan yet, I thought it was just like a form of wildlife conservation. What can you say about that?
Well, I would say that zoos and aquariums, all the research shows that they do very little conservation. Most of their budgets are dedicated just to exhibiting animals so people can go look at them and be entertained. And really, what we need to do if we want to conserve animals in the wild is preserve habitat, protect them from pollution, protect them from overfishing, from being killed for food. And the best thing any one of us can do as an individual is stop eating fish. I think it's a problem anytime that animals are used for human purposes because they're always at risk of suffering. And when you've got all of these fish and sharks and other large sea animals in these tanks, they're not in their natural habitats. They can't do everything that comes natural to them. And we think that's sad.
So I heard Animal Justice is creating an app for animal cruelty to report it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's right. This is something that we think is super important. So right now, if you see or hear about animal cruelty, a lot of people have difficulty knowing where to report that, who's in charge, who should get the information. If farm animals are involved, it's the Canadian Food Inspection Agency usually that polices that.
Right.
If it's a domestic animal, usually it's the Ontario SPCA. So we're building this app, and it should be ready sometime this year.
That's so
where you can go on there, find out what kind of issue you're seeing, what kind of abuse, and report it right away.
So animals in Canada, we don't really, like our laws allow for animals that are being sent to slaughter, they actually can sit up to 48 hours on a transport truck. That's without food, that's without water, and even being able to just lie down. They're standing up. And you can imagine in Canada, especially Toronto, we get freezing cold winters and super, super hot summer months.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, it's a huge problem. And that's actually one thing that a lot of activists are on the ground. So there's a great community of activists in Toronto who hold vigils outside slaughterhouses where they mourn the animals who are going in to be killed.
Yeah.
And they regularly see violations of even these really weak standards that we do have. They see animals with frostbite who are overheating and who arrive dead at slaughterhouses. And this is extremely common. So we hoped with this app to help people report that abuse that they see.
Right. And that's how you get involved in court as well. You represent the animal.
Yeah, one of the other things that Animal Justice does is, you know, sometimes the laws need to be fixed. Sometimes they need to be enforced better. But sometimes animals just need a voice in the courtroom. So we go to court when we can provide that perspective. And what we want to make sure happens is that a judge deciding a case about animals always hears the perspective of the animals, because sometimes the other people involved aren't there with the animal's best interest in mind. So for instance, we were participating in a case in Chatham, Ontario, where there's 21 pit bulls that the Crown wants to kill, and we're intervening and saying, no, you have to remember that these are animals with lives who don't want to die.
I know people think that we get our protein and omega-3 fatty acids with seafood, like fish especially. And, you know, we were talking about this earlier, how we can get it from
plant sources.
Exactly. And you have
I brought along some more pantry items because last week wasn't enough.
Let me grab some. So like this is
that's flax.
That's flax.
And that's really inexpensive, easy to find. You can use this to even make a flax egg, which is really cool.
For baking.
For baking.
Alternative. Yeah, and this
is
hemp.
And that's like just
Manitoba
Harvest. It's Canadian, great company. And then chia. These three are amazing.
Chia seeds. And I know hemp parts are really good for, you know, omegas. They also have like zinc, iron, magnesium,
potassium.
Yeah.
These are all superfoods, and they're so easy to find, and you can incorporate these all into like things like smoothies, baking. You can top like salads with this.
Yeah, so it's really easy.
Yeah, it's easy to incorporate it, and you don't need to, you know, look for a fish oil, because really that's just hurting the environment and it's hurting the animals.
And it's not. I don't think it's safe to eat.
I mean, there's so much
anyway,
mercury and pollution. Like, I wouldn't even want to put that in my body.
Yeah, no way. Every year we have a fun holiday bash, and it's a chance to celebrate what we all accomplished together this year, and also honor the people who helped us do this work. So we talked about the court cases we had. Animal Justice intervened at the Supreme Court of Canada, the country's top level of court.
My goodness.
And for the first time ever, they gave a really good ruling that said some important things about how animals matter to society. So that was great. We talked about that. We talked about some of the great legislation that was put forward this year, and we actually gave a Humane Legislator of the Year award to Toronto MP, Nathaniel Erskine-Smith.
Nice.
He's a member of Parliament in Beaches, East York, and a fantastic guy who put forward a bill to stop animal cruelty. So we honored him and just really celebrated with all the people that made this work possible.
You helped make 2016 a landmark year for animal justice with the biggest animal protection billboard campaign in Canadian history, with groundbreaking court cases and countless media features. 2016, we helped expose the cruelty and suffering experienced by farmed animals.
Consumers are now paying real attention.
Our message is animals are not freight.
We went after illegal advertising by Sobeys and Safeway and the dairy industry for a milk marketing campaign illegally disguised as public service health announcements.
This animal rights lawyer says the charges don't go far enough.
Animals can't be witnesses. They can't tell us what happened to them. We can see exactly what happened, and video evidence doesn't lie.
In 2016, we mounted a huge billboard campaign in Toronto, Vancouver, and Victoria. The billboards got over 52 million views.
I never thought I'd see something like that in public. It makes me feel really sad.
In 2016, we also fought in court to protect 21 innocent dogs from being executed.
Animal rights groups appeared in court today.
Nearly 24 dogs, all of them rescued from an alleged dogfighting ring.
Their lawyers are asking for intervener status.
We're extremely critical of the assessments done to date by the SPCA.
And we took action to stop a vet who abused vulnerable animals.
There should be no second chances for a veterinarian who egregiously abuses animals.
We won an important victory at a hearing for a police officer who was being punished for rescuing a helpless kitten. We got prosecutors to agree that the officer wasn't in the wrong for removing the kitten from a dangerous situation.
There were, I think, 40-some of those billboards in Toronto.
It's huge.
Wow. And some of them expose the truth behind fur. Others focus on meat, animal testing, and animals and entertainment as well, kept in zoos and cages. So we really just wanted to sensitize people and remind them that behind the zoo, behind the circus, there's a vulnerable animal. Anyone who wants to follow our work and stay up to date on the latest animal law news, you can visit animaljustice.ca or find us on Facebook at Animal Justice. A very, very small percentage of charitable giving goes to animal groups. Most of it goes to human groups, and it's good that we're helping everybody, but animal groups could use some more support. So I encourage everyone to open their hearts.
You brought your special books today.
I have 2 books that I want to share with everyone. So, the first one is called Crazy Sexy Diet. It's by somebody named Chris Carr. She actually, this is a beautiful book. Tons of graphics and little charts and lots of information. Yeah, it's amazing for anyone that's looking to go vegan or just looking to incorporate more plant-based, healthier options into their diet.
Oh, can I see? Because I saw like some pictures that have, like, they're quite graphic. So it's not just recipes, it's like information about animal agriculture as well.
So it's a great like starter book, I would say. Lots of information. She actually was diagnosed with cancer, and so this is what led her to veganism and how she healed herself. So this is an amazing book. Going along the themes of health, this is How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger.
I like Dr. Greger.
I love
this book.
He's amazing.
He was just in Toronto in September.
For the Veg Fest.
So we got to hear him speak, and really, really amazing doctor. He's an MD, but he advocates for a plant-based lifestyle. So this book has, you can basically look up any kinds of diseases, types of cancers, and he explains things that you can do. He has some key foods that he says you should incorporate into your diet. So this is definitely a really amazing book. It gives you the science to back up the vegan lifestyle, eating plant-based.
Well, you brought cheese.
Yeah, so actually it's Camille and I's friend. It's their company.
Wonderful.
So it's called Cultured. You might know it was formerly called Wood and Water.
Wood and Water, yes.
So now they're Cultured, just in case you were already following along, viewers. It's amazing. It's cultured cheese. It's made similar to like how they would traditionally make cheese, except that it's made with cashews. So we're not hurting any animals.
Are they all made of cashews though? Like,
I believe so, but they're coming out with other products right now. Like they have a vegan butter, so I can't speak to the other products in the line, but I know the cheese is made with cashews. It's incredible. And every party delicious. I serve it at, it's gone. We put it out at a fundraiser for Animal Justice. I put out like 10 blocks, and I walked back in the room and they were gone.
It's probably ate half
they go very fast. I probably ate half of them.
I couldn't believe how quickly. And it was a lot of the people that were eating that cheese. It was non-vegans. And a lot of non-vegans do like the cheese.
Yeah, and they're all, it's locally made in
Toronto. Exactly.
Which is amazing.
Great to support local.
And they use like organic product. So
really clean product. It's delicious.
I can't wait to try it. We should probably say goodbye. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys again for being in the show. Support animal justice. Don't forget to visit their website. And as always, choose compassion.